So, Namaskar friends. Today I am going to talk about important issues of 27th of May 2022. So today again we are dealing with five different issues ranging in five different areas related to polity, governance, society, art and culture, social justice, international relations, economy, science and technology, environment and biodiversity, climate change, ethics, integrity, aptitude, history, art and culture. That means from 20 to 25 different areas. So I choose five important areas in all the 20 to 25 different areas because in current affairs I generally take 20 to 25 different arena on daily try to venture into different arena and each arena have many parts. That's why on a single topic on daily basis I put a question on it. I try to solve it because in each dimension there are many parts. Okay, so we have to deal with parts as well as dimension. So again, this is a small introduction about today's lecture. Here we are going to talk about different issues ranging from regional to national to international to the planet to the galaxy to the space. So in this arena we are trying to understand everything from atomic to cosmic, okay, from its core to its surface, from its complexity to its simplicity, and try to implement all this knowledge in our life, as well as when we experience all these dimensions in our life as part of our life, we try to solve it as quickly as possible or in as good manner as possible. That's why I choose on daily basis. I venture into different dimensions. When I venture into polity, I understand the whole political dimension. How, what is democracy, what is constitution, how, what is the function of different MPs, MLA, what is the function of president, governor, our state legislature, our parliament, our Supreme Court, how many number of people involved in this activity, why it is important for any democracy, or not only for democracy, or also for countries who are not democratic, but they are who are, you can say, communist. So when we venture into dimension of politics, we understand how which types of people are involved in politics, how they involve, is they deliver their work properly or not. In the same manner, when we enter into dimension of environment, we are aware about the uh, tree cutting. We are aware about the how environment is very much integrated in our life. They give us food, they give us air, they give us medicine, they give us different because a timber so that we manufacture furniture and other houses and all other things, and how conservation of different plant species are important for our life, for our well-being, to know it and also experience the diversity of life. In the same manner, when we enter into the dimension of economics, we understand how the world economic function, how the businessmen work in from one country to another country, what is their role in the development of our country, how which type of people involved in the activity, how which type of people are must go into that area so that we solve the problem, because so that in different area we venture into different area and try to understand which type of people involved in this activity, and how it is important that people who are good in any arena must go there. If not, if let's say if any problem occur and people do not want to go there, we must, you can say, make prepare people to go into that arena, because it is important. It is important that what problem occur in the world we have to solve it, and if any problem not occur, we enhance our mechanism through different manner. Okay, even if it is not your wish, if problem is there, you must learn technology to solve that problem. When we go into the arena of history, very important history, when we know what is happening in our past, which type of battle happened, what is their causes, what is the impact of this war in the life of people. So we understand the whole phenomena and try to implement this in our life so that these types of chaotic situation, these types of war like situations not happen in the future. So everything is important in current affairs. Everything is important. What happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and on the basis of the data of present and past, how we define our future, how we make our future a great place for our future generation as well as for our life when we become old. So that's why we venture into different so that no stone remain unturned, and we solve as much problem as we can in our lifetime, and on daily basis try to understand from its surface to its core, so that neither dimension is missed, nor its depth is missed, nor its complexity is missed. Okay, so today our first topic is advantage of phytoremediation. Okay, so this topic is very much related with you can say environment, okay, and biology and also geography. So directly related with environment. What is phytoremediation? A very important term. So it's an advantage. In this topic, we are going to talk about advantages of phytoremediation. So phytoremediation refers to the uses of this term is referred to the usage of hyper accumulator plant who accumulate toxic material from the soil. So you refer to the usage of hyper accumulation plants to absorb the toxic material present in the soil and accumulate in their living tissue. So the hyper accumulator plants absorb toxic material from the soil and absorb it in their living tissue, and the whole process is called phytoremediation. Okay. So second point is, even though most plants do sometimes accumulate toxic substances, most of the plants, because all plants on some level do phytoremediation, but their, you can say, magnitude is very less compared to the you can say hyperaccumulator. Hyperaccumulator do this activity 100 to 1000 times much on a higher level than the normal plants. Okay, so even though most plants do this activity, hyperaccumulators have the usual ability to absorb 100 to 1000 times greater amount of these substances than the normal and most plants. Like on daily basis we do things like we on for example in my case on some time I when my maid is not come or when I do not go outside to eat, I made myself food, but once a week or two times in a month. But a person who is on daily basis make food, he is much more capable of making good food than mine, because in a month I do this activity for two times, but in a month that guy do this activity let's say 60 to 70 times. So he is much capable than me, because on daily basis they do that activity. In the same manner, hyperaccumulator have the capability to absorb 100 to 1000 times a greater amount of toxic material than a normal plant. Okay. Next point is, what are the advantages of phytoremediation with hyperaccumulator? So what is its advantage of the phytoremediation of hyperaccumulator? So its advantage is, one of the primary advantage of phytoremediation is the fact that it is quite cost effective. It doesn't require much cost in comparison to other remediation methods. Other remediation method is also available through which we can absorb toxic material from the soil, but they are very costly. But this method is very cost effective. That's why we understand it in a very simple manner, so that every people understand it, and wherever it is required they apply it in their field, in their farm, and wherever it is required. Okay. Next point is, the only major cost attached to related to crop management. In the whole process, in the whole you can say phytoremediation process, when you use hyperaccumulator, the only cost required in the whole process is crop management. Crop management is when we planting any tree, when we control weed, when we watering, when we you can throw fertilizer, burning, fencing, and harvesting. That is planting, weed control, watering, fertilization, burning, fencing, and harvesting. All these activities are come under the crop management. And what is cost occur for doing this activity is only required in the whole you can say phytoremediation process. Next point is, this method is also relatively simple. This method is very simple and doesn't require any kinds of specialized technology, like you can say in many like drip irrigation, like happy seeder. In this, these are new technology. We adopt new technology for irrigation, for sowing seed. But in this phytoremediation, no new machinery, no new types of technology is required. It is very simple. Okay. Also, no extra energy source is required, no electricity consumption is required, because plants grow with the help of sunlight. Plants do not require energy, like we do not have to give energy to a pump for irrigation or for any other machine to do that activity. But in this manner, plant is doing the whole thing, so plant absorb energy from the sun. So no, it is called cost effective, no technology is required, and no energy is required. And another important advantage of this method is that it enriches the soil. This method enriches the soil with organic substances and microorganisms. This method also, they absorb the toxic material of the soil and also enriches the soil with organic materials and microorganisms, which can protect protect its chemical and biological quantity, which protect the chemical and biological quantity of the soil. Also, while the plants are growing and accumulating toxic heavy material, when plants grow, they accumulate heavy toxic material. They protect the soil from erosion due to wind and water. When soil when they eroded, so when wind is blowing, when water is flowing, water is eroded. Water is eroded. Go to some wind, blow the soil to another place. Water also on their path take water from one place to another place. But when we use, you can say, phytoremediation process and uses hyperaccumulator, then this, as the plant grow, they absorb more heavy and toxic material, and at the same time they also keep soil intact on that place, and you can say prevent from erosion due to water and wind. So a very important point in all the whole phenomena. So now I give you some picture of it. See, when plants grow, they absorb toxic material from the soil. Okay, and here in their living tissue, they absorb the toxic material and also enriches the soil from erosion, from wind and water. Now we are going to solve some question on it. Which of the following are the advantages of phytoremediation? In this question, we have to choose the option of advantages of phytoremediation. So first question, it is cost effective. Yes, it is cost effective in comparison to other remediation methods. Yes, other remediation method is also present in the market, but this method is cost effective. Okay, so this one is true. No external energy source is required since the plant grow with the help of sunlight. Yes, no extra energy is required. So there is no electricity required, no other energy is required because it takes its energy from the sunlight. Because it is a plant one. It enriches the soil with organic substances and microorganisms. It protects the soil from erosion due to wind or water. Yes, so all the options are correct. All the options are correct. So our option is D. Let us check we are on the right path or not. Just a minute. Yes, so we are on the right path. Option is D. Now move on to the next question. Next question is sugar export. Export of sugar from our country to another country. So India is the biggest producer of sugar. We are the biggest producer of sugar, and second, not first, second largest exporter after Brazil. Brazil is come on top of in terms of export of sugar. We come on second, but in terms of producing, we come on first. That means we are the biggest producer of sugar and second largest exporter. The government has moved export of sugar from open category to the restricted category. Okay. So there is a recent news that government moved from open category to restricted category. In open category, there is no government intervention is required in open category, but restricted category government intervention is needed. Okay, so government move export of sugar from open category, which require no government intervention, to restricted category, which require government intervention. Okay, so many farmers, many trade organizations, you can say, oppose or protest regarding this move, because they want more export sugar to other countries so that they earn more money and their input cost problem is solved, and also they gain some profit in the whole export process. Next topic is, this means that export of sugar is allowed only with specific permission. Yes, when government moved this sugar export from open to restricted category, that means if anyone want to export the sugar, special permission is required. From where? From the Directorate of Sugar, which is under the Department of Food and Public Distribution, and which is under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution. So Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution is a main nodal agency under which Department of Food and Public Distribution came, and under which Directorate of Sugar is come, and we require the permission of Directorate of Sugar. Okay, so Directorate of Sugar, Department of Food and Public Distribution, and Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution. So now we move on to the next question, next topic, next answer point. So thanks to the bumper crop over the last 4 seasons, exports to boom. Over the last 4 seasons, bumper crop of sugar cane is happening. So our export is also boom in that area. And why center do this thing? Because government argument is that festival season is come, so more consumption of sugar is required in our own country. So if farmers send the if farmer export the sugar in another country, there is a crunch happening in our country, and due to that inflation, maybe inflation in terms of sugar is increases, and the people of the whole country suffer. That's why government change the, you can say, its status from open category to restricted category. The center also extended subsidies to millers to push the cells abroad. Government extends subsidies to millers. That means millers where sugar can convert, where the conversion of sugar cane to sugar occurs. So center extends subsidy to millers to push cells abroad, so that they sell the sugar in abroad, in foreign countries. Before the start of the sugar occasion, sugar season, as the sugar season is from October to season. So before the start of the sugar season, the central government would announce both the quota for export and the subsidy to achieve the target. Government set a target of export of sugar. So before the start of the sugar season, government give quota as well as subsidy, quota for export and the subsidy to achieve the target. That is, for export, they provide quota as well as subsidy, so that we achieve the required desired target of export of sugar. So government also do something. Also, farmers also, you can say, benefited as well as lose on some points. But government handle the whole country. Farmer handle also a large group of the farming community. So it is, you can say, it is must be a win-win situation for both government as well as farmer producers who produce the sugar cane, and in terms millers who convert that sugar cane into sugar. So millers, farmers, and government must work in sync with each other, so that for all win-win situation happen. Okay, and also public not suffer due to high prices of sugar. So you can clearly see in this picture, farmers, or you can say laborers, pack the sugar and load it on the trucks, so that they go to the coastal area or other places where export activities are taking place. Okay, so now we want to solve one question on it. Consider the following statement. First one is, India is the world's largest producer and largest exporter of sugar. No, we are the world's largest producer, but second largest exporter. First one is Brazil. Okay, so first one is wrong. When the government move export of sugar to restricted category, it means export of sugar is allowed only with specific permission from the Directorate of Sugar, yes, and which is under the Department of Food and Public Distribution. Yes, completely true. Third one, according to the WTO rules, government cannot provide subsidy to promote sugar exports. No, there is no such provision in WTO. Government has the right to provide subsidy, and government provides subsidy as well as you can support for the export of sugar, so that we achieve our desired target. So third one is wrong. So only option is 2. Only option is 2. That means option B is correct. Let's check we are on the right path or not. Yes, so option B is correct. So we are on the right path. Now move on to third topic called inflation. On daily basis, inflation is news because on daily basis, you can say some changes in RBI, some WPI, CPI, and daily prices of fuel food are occurring. That's why this topic is almost in a week or on a daily basis. Okay, so inflation. In January 2014, an expert committee of the RBI. In January 2014, an expert committee of the RBI submitted its report on the way to revise and strengthen the monetary policy framework in India. So in 2014, an expert committee of the RBI submitted its report to revise as well as strengthen the monetary policy framework in India. It chose to target retail inflation, and this committee chose to target retail inflation, not wholesale price inflation. So there is a reason in it. Okay. So in January 2014, expert committee of RBI submitted its report to revise and strengthen the monetary policy framework in India. And this committee focus on controlling the, or you can say, target the retail inflation, not wholesale inflation. So why it is that? Why won't they target retail and not wholesale? So there must be a reason for it. No? So reason is, firstly, the committee pointed out that wholesale inflation. The committee pointed out that wholesale inflation does not capture price movement in non-commodity producing sectors like services. Non-commodity producing sector, that means sector which do not produce commodity like services, So WPI does not capture price movement in this sector. That means WPI does not measure movement in services, which is a non-commodity producing sector. That's why it is a one, you can say, drawback of WPI, which constitute close to two-thirds of the economic activity in India. In India, two-thirds of the economic activity constitute the non-commodity producing sector. So it is very much, you can say, we are very much avoiding this sector. If we measure WPI, we target WPI, we select the portion which is two-thirds of the whole economic activity of India. Okay, so that's why we target CPI, not WPI, because WPI do not consider the, you can say, does not capture the price movement of services sector, and which constitute two-thirds of the economic activity of India. Okay, next one is, this correspond to the point made earlier about how WPI and CPI is are different. So on that basis, WPI and CPI is different. On the above statement, what I talked about, WPI do not capture the price movement of services, but CPI capture, and this the whole phenomena, the whole economic activity of India is two-thirds of the economic activity of India is related with services. So CPI capture it, but WPI do not capture it. That's why it is a major difference between CPI and WPI. Next point is, secondly, it pointed out that wholesale inflation does not generally reflect price movement in all wholesale market. In price, what is the price movement in the all wholesale market? Wholesale inflation do not capture also this. If wholesale inflation capture this as well as the movement of non-commodity services, so if we target wholesale, our problem is solved. But there is a problem in wholesale inflation. Wholesale inflation do not do not capture the price movement of non-commodity producing sector, as well as also not all wholesale market. Okay, this happened because price quotations for some important commodities such as milk and LPG. For milk and LPG, price quotation for some important commodity like milk and LPG are very important. People use it on daily basis. So price quotation for this commodity are taken from retail market, not from wholesale market. So if we target wholesale market, we left with services, we left with you can say milk and LPG, which constitute a large segment of the whole economic activity of the India. And next point is, movement in WPI often reflects large external stocks. If movement in WPI, if large external shock happen, then movement in WPI happen. Small changes, WPI do not reflect small changes, and as such, the wholesale inflation rate is often subject to large revision. And if large revision happen, then there is a change in wholesale inflation rate. Or also, if large external shock happen, then there is a movement in WPI. So it is basically not, if small changes happen, then WPI have no impact on WPI. So that means it is not sensitive to small movement for non-commodity producing sector, as well as for important commodity like LPG, as well as milk. So if RBI target wholesale price, then it you can say avoid the service sector, some important commodities like LPG, milk, and also you can say small changes in the whole economic activity of the India. That because WPI changes if large, or you can say large external shocks happen, or if large vision happen, then there is a change in WPI inflation. So it miss many points. That's why we target on CPI. Because when we target CPI, we capture service sector which contribute to of the economic activity of India. We capture milk and LPG changes in this prices, and also if small changes happen, CPI reflect this phenomenon also. Okay, so this is a picture of inflation. You can clearly see. Okay, picture of inflation increase. So WPI, CPI, if prices increases, inflation increases. Okay. So now we are going to solve one question on it. To revise and strengthen the monetary policy framework in India, RBI chooses to target retail inflation because why RBI choose to target this non-WPI? Because wholesale inflation does not generally reflect price movement in all wholesale market. Yes, not in case of milk and LPG, we do not target this sector. That means not even the wholesale inflation do not target all wholesale market. It left some market of wholesale also. This one is true. Wholesale inflation does not capture price movement in non-commodity producing sector like services, which constitute close to two-thirds of the economic activity of India. Yes, wholesale does not capture services, which constitute two-thirds of the economic activity of India. This one is also correct. Next one is wholesale price. WPI often reflect large external shock, and the wholesale inflation rate is often subject to large revision. Yes, this do not entertain. You can say small external shock as well as small revision. So this one is also correct. So our option is D, 1, 2, 3. Let us check we are on the right path or not. So option D is correct. That means we are on the right path. Now move on to the next question. Next question is Kuznets theory. What is Kuznets theory? So in economics, this theory is very famous. This theory is basically tell how if you can say income increases, what is the relation between income and inequality? When income increases, inequality decreases, and when income decreases, inequality increases. So Kuznets theory actually. I'm sorry for pronunciation, but Kuznets theory talk about this regarding to inequality as well as income level rising. So while there is an argument in literature that inequalities are the manifestation of the average level of income. In literature, people say that there is a they say that inequality is the manifestation of the average level income, as explained by the Kuznets theory. Kuznets theory explains that inequality. Kuznets theory tells or said that inequality are the manifestation of the average level income. Kuznets believed that inequality would follow an inverted U-shape. They say that inequality follow inverted U-shape as it rises and then falls again with the increase of income per capita. That means this curve, as income increases, it first rises and after reaching an optimum point, it falls. So this curve is basically I show here. This is a inverted U-shape. When the per capita income increases, inequality first increases and then after that point inequality decreases. So when inequality decreases, it is directly a phenomenon of developed country, and when it increases in developing economy. Because in developing economy, inequality is more than developed economies. Okay, so Kuznets theory talk about if per capita income increases, inequality increases, but after some point of time it decreases. That means it make a shape of inverted U, and it show a direct relation between you can say inequality as well as per capita income. And the definition of it is inequality or the manifestation of the average level of income. So Kuznets theory explained that inequality, they said that inequality is the manifestation of the average level income, and it follows the inverted U-shape. As per capita income increases, it first increases and after some point time it decreases. So when initially after reaching the middle point, it is a phenomenon of developed country, and after middle point to end when it decreases, it is a phenomenon of developed countries. Okay. So now move on to the next. We are going to solve the one question on it. In economics, Kuznets theory. Kuznets theory related to, of course, related to inequality and per capita income. So option B is correct. Let's check we are on the right path or not. Right path or not. So option B. Yes, so we are on the right path. Now we are going to talk about Wanshuwa Festival. So basically, it is a festival of Assam when harvest season happen, when you can say bumper crop is you can say bumper crop happen in that season. So people celebrate this and devote, you can say, pay their respect to the god for the bumper crop, and they celebrate this through this festival. So this festival is called Wanshuwa Festival. It is celebrated by a tribe of Assam. So Wanshuwa Festival. Remember Wanshuwa Festival. You can clearly see people celebrate this. Here they, I think, some fire or whatever it is, I do not know. So people, or you can say, dance around the center of this. Maybe it is a grain, whatever the produce occur, and people celebrate it with, you can say, that some, you can say, some wood. They take some wood and dance in a round and round center around the grains, fire, or whatever it is. Okay. So in this picture, you can almost clearly see the rain is happening. That's why people take umbrella and they hold each other's hand and dance in a circle, and they keep their produce in the center. Okay, I think it is a produce. Yeah. So here it is noted that Tiwa tribesmen, Name of the tribesman is Tiva. Tiva tribesmen performing their traditional dance at the Wanshuwa Festival at the village Karbi Englong in village Karbi at a village in Karbi Anglong district. So in Karbi Anglong district of Assam, Assam is a state. So in Assam there is a district called Karbi Anglong district. In that district, in a village, people celebrate the Wanshuwa Festival, and tribe name of tribe is Tiva. Tiva tribe. Okay. So remember it. Just a minute. Tiva tribe, Karbi Anglong district of Assam, Wanshuwa Festival. When it is a date or where it is reported. Agriculture is the mainstay of the community that lives in the hills. So in the hills, community live. Agriculture is their main business. Okay, so agriculture is the mainstay of the community that lives in the hills. During the festival, Tiwaj pray for the bountiful harvest and protection from pest and natural calamity. So they celebrate this festival to pray to the god for bountiful harvest, good quantity of harvest, and protection of this crop from the pest and natural calamity. That means no flood, or you can say drought occur, no pest attack occur. So it did not this natural calamity and pest things not happen. That means bountiful crop produce. So they give respect for this bountiful crop and pray to the god and celebrate this festival. Okay, so very important one. In many part of the country, they celebrate the harvest festival from different names, and in all this manner, they pray to the god for the bountiful, you can say harvest, and protect the whole crop as well as from natural calamity. So this Vanshuwa festival is in news because recently people celebrated this festival. So remember that Tiwa tribe, Karba Inglong district of Assam, Wanshuwa festival, and this festival is to celebrated to pay respect to the god for bountiful harvest and protect their crop from pest as well as natural calamity. Okay. So now we are going on to solve the question related to Wanshuwa festival. So Wanshuwa festival is celebrated in Karbi Anglong district of Assam. Yes. Celebrated by Tiwa tribesmen. Yes. For which not the third option is for bountiful harvest. Yes. So option is C, 1 and 2. Correct? Yes. So let us check we are on the right path or not. So option is C. So we are on the right path. So I think this is the end of the topic. Now I just try to summarize the whole topic in a smaller, you can say 2 to 3 minutes. So first one, today's our first topic is, I think, first topic is, I do not remember the first topic in just a minute. Okay. First one is, sorry, just a minute. First one is fight to remediation. Okay. First one is, just a minute, I think we should, what is happening here? Okay. I'm sorry. I do not think why this is happening here. Fight to remediation. I think pen is not working. So, what is happening here? I think there is some issue. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. See what is happening. One knowledge from me. I'm sorry. So first one is phytoremediation. Okay. Second one is related to sugar export. Third one is related to inflation. Fourth one is Kuznets theory. And fifth one is related with Wanshuwa Festival. Okay. So in phytoremediation we are talking about, we use hyper accumulator, which you can say absorb toxic from the soil and stored in the living tissues of the plant. This method is cost effective because it only involves maintenance cost like watering, fertilizer, okay, weeding, uh, watering, fertilizer, weeding, fencing, and etc. Okay, and it is also cost effective because it do not require energy. It takes its energy directly from the soil. Enrich the soil by sending organic material and micronutrient in the soil, and also protect the soil from soil and water erosion, because when tree grows it hold the soil in their root and help to do not let them erode. Okay, so this is the main important point related to phytoremediation. There are other methods in also, but it is cost effective. Okay. Next one is sugar export. In sugar export, government move from open category to restricted category. So here no government intervention required. Here government intervention required. And if anyone want to export sugar from this country, they required an approval from the Directorate of Directorate of Sugar, which is under the Department of Food and Public Distribution, and which is under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution. Okay, so we are largest producer of the sugar, but second largest consumer, second largest exporter. First one is Brazil. Okay, so these are some important points related to sugar export, and also government gives subsidies to mills for, you can say, so that they sell in international market. And times to time government also gives subsidy as well as quota for export, so that farmers export their product in the international market and gain some benefit out of it. Okay. Third one is related with inflation. So yeah, RBI target on you can say on, you can say, retail inflation rather than on wholesale inflation, because main reason is that wholesale do not take into account of the non commodity producing sector, for example like services, which constitute 2/3 of the economic activity of India, as well as it also do not entertain the whole wholesale market. Whole wholesale market. Some important commodity like milk and LPG are kept out of wholesale price index. So if any change happen in it, it does not directly link with the wholesale. So it do not entertain this wholesale. Do not, you can say, take into account the whole wholesale market changes happening in the whole wholesale market. And also, if any large division happen, then there is a change in the wholesale price index. On if any, you can say, large external shock happen, then it's impact the WPI. So if small changes happen, WPI do not entertain it. Also do not entertain whole wholesale market, and also do not consider non-commodity producing sector. So and it is very important. It constitutes two-thirds. It's also changing on daily basis, and it also is small changes happening on daily basis. So, but the CPI entertain all these three aspects. That's why RBI focus on the targeting the CPI. And a special in June 2014, a special committee of RBI give its report, and you can say give suggestion about revise and strengthen the monetary policy framework of India. And this committee suggested to target on retail inflation rather than wholesale inflation. Okay. Now move on to Kuznets curve. So this basically show a relation between inequality and per capita income. So it is like an inverted U-shaped curve. When this one is a per capita income. So when per capita income increases, inequality initially increases, but after some point of time it decreases. Okay, just a minute. Initially it increases, but after some point of time it decreases. So basically this curve so about developed countries, because in developed country inequality is not more, and this curve is so about developing countries. Okay, so as per capita income increases, inequality decreases. Here if per capita income increases, inequality increases. So Kuznets theory talk about it. So the basic, you can say, definition of Kuznets curve is inequality is the manifestation of average level income of any country. Fifth one is, just a minute. Fifth one is Wanshuwa Festival. So Wanshuwa Festival is basically celebrated by the you can say Tawa tribes of Assam, and they in the, you can say, Anglong district of Assam. What is the full name? Something Anglong district of Assam. This festival is celebrated by the Tawa tribes, and this is celebrated. This tribes are celebrated this festival for the bountiful harvest of their crop, and also pray to the god for the protection of their crop from pest as well as natural calamity. Okay, so Kurba Anglong district and Tawa tribe. So in Assam, Tawa tribe, Kurba Anglong district, and for bountiful harvest of crop, and pray to the god for protection of their crop from pest as well as natural calamity. So I hope you enjoy the whole lecture and love the whole lecture, and also gain some knowledge and gain some perspective about this. And this is very important. Again, I told you this lecture is very important because we venture into different dimensions, try to understand the problem of the people, how they celebrate, like how they celebrate Wanshuwa Festival. In different parts of the country, they celebrate this festival. How inflation, we target retail inflation, not inflation. How the sugar export impact our country as well as other countries. All the issues important because different types of people are involved in different types of activity. So we on daily basis we venture to solve 5 problems, that means go into the 5 different areas and try to understand the problem of the people, problem of the government, problem of the farmers, problem of the public, as well as try to solve this problem in the best possible way. Okay. So I hope you love this lecture, enjoy this lecture, and learn some perspective and some knowledge from this. So, namaskaram. Thank you.